They give all of the spots as wildcards. What the is that? Okay? I'm in my own country and they gave wildcards to players that were behind me.
For your own safety and comfort, we suggest you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight.
But tennis is fundamentally broken at its core. And maybe this is a separate video in itself, but I am sitting here in the hotel room just to paint a clear picture. I traveled by myself to this event. I paid over $1,000 to just be here somewhere in my own country. If I was to win the tournament, I probably wouldn't even make that amount back because then I need to get home, pay for hotel. So right there in itself, it's already a joke. You can win a professional tennis tournament and not even make the money back that it costs to be here. Okay, that's number one. So tennis is broken in that sense, but many people already know this. Tennis is really broken at the futures level. I'm broke coming here, I'm broke leaving. The alternate list, how does this work? I don't know if you guys know how this works, but you have the main draw, you have the qualification, and then you have the alt list. That's under the qualification. Technically, you're not in the tournament, but they have the alternate list because so many people in the main draw in the qualifications don't end up going because there's so many tournaments happening. So they choose to go to another one, or they're hurt, or for some reason they withdraw. Then these people get bumped up once the deadline happens, and then you have the singles freeze. When the freeze happens, it's frozen. You can't do anything. So everybody's frozen. Usually when you're in the top 20 on the alt list, you go. You go to the tournament, that's usually the green light to be like, you got a chance to go in. In this case for me, I'm 11 on the list. I've gotten in at 12 before. I've gotten in at plus 20 back. Once you're in the 30s or 40s, it's a little bit risky for sure. But I'm coming here knowing that there's a chance that I don't get in. But looking at the draw, knowing the position on the alt list, that's pretty good. That's the highest I've ever been. They give all of the spots as wildcards. What the is that? Okay? I'm in my own country and they gave wildcards to players that were behind me. Let that sink in for a second. I am in my own country, one province over, less than a 6-hour drive. I had to fly here though, that's another story. And they give the wildcards to people that are behind me on the alt list. Normally they give wildcards to the home country players that are high on the alt list. And they give the odd one behind because of whatever. Maybe they were hurt, maybe they know the tournament director. But if that is not political, then I don't know what is. That is so weird. Okay, so here I am sitting in the hotel. I should be in this tournament tomorrow. I am not. And this is the second time this has happened to me in this province. 2 times this has happened in a year and a half-ish. I don't know if it's a Quebec tennis thing. It happened to me in the Montreal one. And now we're in Trois-Rivières, which is about an hour and a half outside of Montreal. Like, this is screwed up, all right? The system is broken, and this is what I'm talking about. This is so broken. I just want to play. That's it. Just play, okay? And I should have been able to play. And it's already so hard as it is to just play. People don't understand how hard it is to just play professionally, okay? The sacrifice, the physical, the just getting here, okay? We don't need to talk about that because you can go listen to any other player talk about how hard it is to be just a professional athlete in itself. And I'm not saying a professional athlete. I am. I'm not saying I am. I'm trying, but it's pretty hard right now. So this is what I'm saying. Tennis is broken right now. I don't know what needs to be happening, but I'm sharing this experience with you guys right now because I don't get it. It's not making sense in my head at all. So I'm making this video. I expect anything to happen. I can't get in the tournament. I can't be like, yo, director, put me in. They can't change a draw. the nicest tournament director in the world is going to tell me to screw off, okay? And they don't screw around at these events. So it's just, I'm just disappointed. Also, we're in Canada, and the events that I've gone to in Canada, I've done two before this. One I got in, one I didn't. The one I tried today, I didn't get in. But the people that are working these events, I don't know. It's not very inviting. So to Tennis Canada, if you're watching this video, do better. Do better, okay? I went to one in LA. It was my first time ever. I was extremely jet lagged. I showed up there. I was so excited. I thought I wasn't gonna get in. I walked into the director's office and this guy was so inviting. He was like, I'm so happy you're here. I really hope you get in. This is how it works. I want to tell you how it works. Okay? No offense to any Americans, but that's the last place I would think I would be getting a rundown of how all of this works, because it's just what I would think. Okay? In the US, it's different, you know? But they were amazing to me there. The people were amazing. And here, I just feel like the tournaments, it's very, I don't know. If you're not in the main draw, if you're not in qualifying, you're get out. And to a degree, I understand you're not in the tournament. Technically, you're on the cusp. But still treat people with, it's not that it's respect, because they weren't being disrespectful. But it was like, I walked in today, I went to go sign in. I'm 11 on the list. That's pretty high, okay? I stood in the doorway for 1 minute and just waited for eye contact, just to see that they would acknowledge me. And I could be Roger Federer, and I think they might have did the same thing. That is the part that I feel is a little bit rude. Just a little bit frustrating. I feel the events here should be run. It's not that they're run poorly, but I don't know what that part is, but it's not great. So this is a huge call out to people that are at running the event, the federation. Just do better. Why is this happening? Because it's not just happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people. Maybe if it's an ITF thing, you gotta fucking switch the rules. If I flew to China and did an ITF in China and I took a risk. Now, there is always a risk. I'm gonna keep saying this. There's always a risk to play these tournaments. And you need to know that there's a chance that you don't get in. But if I didn't get in fair and square, I wouldn't be making this video. Right? The other one in Montreal 1.5 years ago, I'm pretty sure it also wasn't fair. There was kids that got behind me, Wildcards as well. I was around 40 on the list, so I let that one go quite easily because it was far back, right? It was a risk. I was in the city anyway. It was a long shot. But when you're top 10 on a list, 11 on the list, you are pretty much in the tournament. It's so close. You should be there on site. You should be. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If I'm in another part of the world and I'm 10 alternate, I'm feeling so good about myself. But they shouldn't be giving wild cards to people, especially a row of people, a ton of people that are behind a certain player that has signed in. End of story. That's all. That's it. So I'm very upset with that. I'm going to let it go because if I keep thinking about it, I'll just, for what? All right, for what? This is more a PSA to ITF, Tennis Canada, the tennis gods. We got to do better. And not do better for me. Do better for tennis. Make the rules better, okay? Make the rules better and make it not so fucking hard to make a living in this sport. I'm not going to make a living from tennis, okay? When stuff like this happens, it really just puts you spiraling. You don't want to play. It really sucks. So I just think tennis has a lot to work on. This is my experience that I had today. It doesn't help that I had lost a bag and Air Canada lost a bag for me and I had to go buy clothes thinking I was going to play tomorrow because that's how it works. All right, you prepare to play. It sucks. This is I'm not even going to call it a rant because I don't think it is. I think this is allowed. And there's people that are in these positions that need to be called out. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. As a tournament director, if I was ever one, or a supervisor. I would love to really know what happens in those rooms when they make the draws. I've heard many stories from not just one person, not just two people, more than 5 people about this. I'm not saying it happens here, but it happens when you slide a couple dollars under the table to get someone in a tournament. And I'm not saying that happened here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that does happen. And I have heard this from some really good tennis players. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to out people, but tennis players that have made it big time. So there's some crazy stuff that happens out there, and I don't know if I'm getting a feeling of I'm experiencing that now. I think I am. And it's just, once again, the math is not mathing. I'm not going to keep you guys forever. So I'm sitting here on the bed thinking about all this stuff that I said earlier, and all 5 of these players that got the wild cards, all lower WTNs. Whether they're technically better than me or not, we got to be using something that's super accurate. That's a side thing. But they're using WTN, so stick with your system. Stick with it. Okay? But you gave the wild cards, which is your choice. You chose the wild cards. You gave them wild cards, and all of their WTNs were lower for junior players. Okay? I played through your fucking system. I played college. It's my turn. Okay? That's why I'm mad about the juniors. Okay? Maybe they're good for their age. Good job for them. They will have their chance. They have lots of time, okay? Then the one other one, this is the one that sends me crazy. It was a Canadian college player. Canadian University? Lower UTR, lower WTN, and was way back on the alt list. What are we doing here? I'm so upset. I just wanted to play. How many times will I get to play, especially in my home country? People don't understand that you're coming from far away to just play and have an experience. I'm not going to be Alcaraz and Sinner. Hell, I might not even ever get a point. But I just want to have a fair chance. This is not fair. Not fair. Shame on Tennis Canada. Shame on the ITF. Shame on Tennis Quebec. Because they probably have their hands in here for sure. Because they're probably all Quebec juniors. But don't quote me on that. But for sure, it's a joke. Because it's not happened one time. It's happened 2 times. Just so frustrating, guys. Anyway, if you guys enjoy me ranting a lot, let me know. Maybe we can add this into some more videos. I'm not normally mad like this. So that was my experience. Thank you for listening. Let me know if this has ever happened to you. If you know what's happened to someone you know, and just let me know what you think about this. Am I crazy? I don't think so. But this one would keep me up at night, and it will. So I'm going to try and forget about it. We're going to end this video. I'm literally recording on my phone because all the camera stuff, my camera died. Air Canada, fuck them too. All my stuff for my camera and my mics is in the bag. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging around, and thanks for listening to me be real with you. See ya.